In this video, we're going to be talking through trauma and how to heal from trauma. But first of all, imagine throwing a pebble into the water and you get a ripple effect. If it's a small pebble, it's a small little ripple, but it impacts every dimension of your life. If you throw a big rock, big boulder into the water, you get ripples, the same kind of ripples, but bigger, and they reach further. If you consider that with trauma, no matter how big, how small, creates this ripple effect that affects every dimension of your life. And then you might put into the mix lots of stones all going in, lots of multiple traumas that create lots of ripples that overlap each other. I'm Tanya Weston. I'm a psychotherapist qualified in treating trauma with cognitive behaviour therapy and EMDR. In this video, I'm going to help you heal from trauma with 5 steps so that you can start to reclaim your life and rebuild your life. So number 1, it's really important when you're experiencing symptoms of trauma to differentiate between then and now. When we have a heightened alert, a heightened state of threat, our threat system's always on the go, we're always keeping busy, we don't sit still, and that threat feels real now. We have to tell our mind, tell ourselves that that trauma was back then, you're safe now. Then and now, and differentiating from that can be really critical. Let's consider a client example. So a client may come to me and say, do you know, I just can't sit still. I've just got to be on the go. If I sit still, then it all just comes flooding back to me. I feel on edge, I feel tetchy, it's not a good place. So I've got to keep going all the time. But ultimately that's going to lead to burnout, it's going to lead to exhaustion. So we have to get comfortable with standing still, comfortable with stopping. That's when I'll work with a client to differentiate between then and now. Well, hang on a minute, where are you feeling this? Well, you know, when I'm at home, I'm with the family, the kids are around, or, you know, I'm just in a good place, but, you know, I'm just going to keep busy. Okay, but it sounds like you're in a safe place. Well, yeah, I am. We kind of really differentiate that here is safe. It was back then that wasn't so safe. If this resonates with you so far, give it a like so that other people can benefit from hearing these 5 ways to heal from trauma. The second way to heal from trauma is to be really mindful of hindsight bias. When we've experienced trauma, we can almost confuse our mind with what we know now to what we didn't know then. Let me explain that a little bit. It may be a car accident, and it may be if I'd put the brakes on sooner, you know, if I'd checked the rear view mirror. All this is hindsight bias because you didn't know you were about to be in a car accident, and you only have these thoughts afterwards. When you have the hindsight bias, you know what was about to happen, and that can be reflective of any traumatic experience. Really notice, really recognize when you're considering alternative actions that you could have taken, knowing what you know now but didn't know back then. This is called hindsight bias, and it can really impact how you feel, how you think, and how you behave. So number 3, is about resource. What resource do you have? Thinking about the people around you, the environment, and yourself, and almost thinking about the inner resource you have when you're feeling a sense of traumatic symptoms showing up. Inner resource, perhaps because of trauma, may be resilience. Well, I'm more resilient than I used to be. So, you know, it's a good resource that I've got that I didn't have. So I'm resilient. Well, now I have a good family around me. So, you know, I'm loved for, I'm cared for, I can speak to them about stuff. That's a resource, the relationships around you. Another resource could be where you live. So perhaps you live near a park, a stream, you could go for a walk, you can almost take the opportunity to be mindful, just some green space somewhere that actually the resource is the environment around me. Tapping into these resources when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling on edge, when you're feeling flighty, when signs 1 and 2 are showing up for you, it can really help ground you. Remind yourself of how resourceful you have been in the past and how resourceful you can be right now. That's 3 signs so far. Hit subscribe if you're finding this useful, and you'll be able to access some more of my videos relating to a range of mental health problems and how to work through them. Number 4 is spot the red flags. What red flags show up for you? What do I mean by red flags? Red flags can be things that trigger you. When we've experienced trauma and we see red flags, we can avoid, block, suppress, withdraw. We can almost put our hands up to those red flags and go, whoa, not now, you know, not ready for this. Red flag might be, you might be triggered by confrontation. You might be triggered by noise. A red flag might be lots of people or a social engagement. I'd ask you to lean into those flags, to recognise those red flags, and consider if signs 1, 2 or 3 could help you work through those red flags. If your red flag is when you feel somebody is telling you you're not good enough, recognise that and truly consider it. Is that what I'm feeling? Is what I'm hearing my perception or the reality? And the trigger might promote feelings that are uncomfortable to you. But recognising the red flag and noticing what's happening can enable you to tap into your resources. Do you know, I'm just feeling triggered here. This is a red flag for me. What inner resource do I have? Well, do you know, I'm resilient. I can process this. I can work with this. And number 5, the thing that works really well with my clients is journaling. And some clients are skeptical, no, I'm not really into that journaling kind of thing. And some clients really embrace it, but the same outcome happens for both, in that they're like, gosh, I didn't realise all those thoughts were going on in my head. I didn't realise there were so many emotions showing up for me from today. Journaling is a really, really positive way of truly engaging with what's in your head, what's in your mind, and the impact of the behaviours that's had. Then start to shift and adapt your behaviours to bring about different thoughts and feelings. Journaling is really powerful. If you're looking for some journals that are pre-made, pre-done for you, Clever Fox do some really good journals that you can access and use. So if you found these beneficial and you've got other ways in which you have found have worked for you when healing from trauma, drop them in the comments so that I can have a look and share those with others, comment and consider the ideas you've come up with. And equally, if you found this useful and you're like, I get these 5 ways, but I'm exhausted, I'm broken, I don't know where to go with this. In the next video, I'll explore how you can fill from an empty cup